Hi players, bonjour from Paris, my name is Asaf and welcome to my channel Easy Board Games. Today on this monthly video of building the perfect board game collection of 100 games, no more and no less, we're going to say goodbye not to 3 games but actually to 6 games, and we're going to say hello to 6 new ones. Also, since some of these decisions are a little bit controversial, and if you're still out there by the time that I finish the video, I got a pretty cool surprise for you. I suggest you stick around, but you do you, my friends. Let's start with the first game that is leaving the collection, and that is Letters from Whitechapel. So for those of you who don't know, Letters from Whitechapel is a very basic hidden movement game where one side is playing Jack the Ripper and the other sides are playing the police trying to catch them. So this is basically, I think, 1 to 5 or 6 players, but to me it was even a good game as a 1 versus 1. And I think that this is pretty much one of the first hidden movement games that I ever had in my collection, and I did enjoy it for a couple of reasons. First of all, the concept itself is very cool. I really enjoyed it, and unlike other hidden movement games, this one was strictly really just like the meat and bones of hidden movement, not like other games, not saying better or worse, but like other games that have a lot of things around it. This was really lean hidden movement game that I enjoyed a lot. Also because this was one of the games that I have had that you can actually teach it in a very simple way to your non-board gamer friends. So this is something that if I'm hosting people, we're going somewhere and I'm taking this game, it's very easy to grasp the concept, and it was really nice to just see people who are not really into board games having a good time with this one. So for me, the reason that Letters from Whitechapel is leaving the collection is because not a long time ago when we, the backers, received the pledge of Terrorscape, it kind of replaced the go-to hidden movement board game in my collection. I don't feel that I need to have too many of those because it's not like it's my favorite genre of board game or something like that. I do have, besides this one, so I have a Terrorscape, I have the City of the Great Machine, also Mind MGMT, Mind Management, and I used to have Beast, but I sold it pretty much for the same reasons, just I don't need to have too many of these games. And now with the friends that are not playing usually board games, I think that Terrorscape is a really simple game to learn, just need to show it like one round, it's very easy to grasp. So that is the reason that I'm selling Letters from Whitechapel. Moving on to the second game that is already a little bit heavier than this one, that is Vital Lacerda's CO2 Second Chance. Look guys, I'm not saying that Vital Lacerda's games are not good, because I think they're very good. I don't necessarily think that maybe all the time they're worth the price when they go out, but I think that in general, if you can get some games in the second hand or something like that, that is pretty cool. Just the kind of cooperation aspect that we have over here in this game is not something that I really liked. Also, I don't know, it's basically some sort of another Euro, and I kind of feel that if I'm already having one of Vital Lacerda's games or a few, this is not necessarily need to be this one. Before moving to the 2 last games that I prepared over here, the hard copy, I have 2 other games that left the collection already sold them. The first one is, I hope I'm pronouncing it well, it's a Pax Profiriana that I had the collector's edition, decided to just sell it. First of all, again, I don't think that I need too many Pax games in my collection. I already have 2 that for me now are pretty much the best Pax games in my opinion that exist in the market. That is of course Pamir 2nd edition and Renaissance 2nd edition. And to be honest with you, just there's something with this designer and the way they're writing the rulebook that is just every time that I'm opening one of their games, I'm like, God, this is so exhausting just passing the first few pages. So, okay, you already did the effort and you learn the game, and then you're like, you know what? I think I have other Pax games that are awesome. I don't need another one. The same pretty much happened to me with Transhumanity. If I need to compare this one or the other one, I think that Transhumanity is better, but still not enough to justify another Pax game in the collection. Now starting the difficult part, okay? You're still with me, yes? So the next game that already left my collection, that is Hegemony. And I just think when I'm looking at this type of games, if I'm comparing it to another game that I already have in my collection, that will be John Company Second Edition. I think that in general, okay guys, in general, both of these games are supposed to do the same thing, okay? That is basically some sort of negotiation around the table. You're going to scratch my back, I'm going to scratch yours later. And then, of course, you still have to make sure that you're getting the better end of the deal, at least to what you're thinking at that moment. And while I do think that Hegemony is the more simple game, I think that I had less of a problem to learn Hegemony than John Company. Still, I think that I prefer to have the longer game there, a little bit more complex game, but to have the better experience. Because, and I think I'm going to do a whole video that is just dedicated to John Company Second Edition. I think that that is such an excellent game, a unique game basically, okay? This is not something that you were used to see. And I think that this is one of the reasons why Hegemony did so well. First of all, because before I'm going to tell you why, but it's just a little bit confusing for me. How come Hegemony did so well and John Company, even though it has, I want to say, a little bit less than 4,000 rankings on BGG or something like that, is not a game that you're used to hear about as much as we hear about Hegemony. Not so sure why, again, because I think that it does it better. Maybe because Hegemony is a little bit easier to learn or takes less of a time. I think 4 players, on average, the games that I played took, I want to say 3 hours, something like that, give or take. So maybe this is one of the reasons, but if I don't think that I need to have Hegemony and John Company Second Edition in my collection, and that is the reason why it left my collection. You ready for the last 2 games? Okay. So both of them, when I said anything about this designer or about these games that created such a, it was crazy. So I put a post basically on Facebook, okay, one of the Facebook groups, I think it was the Board Game Revolution community, that I'm not actually happy either with Ankh or Blood Rage. All right, so hopefully you're still there. You haven't exited and blocked completely this YouTube channel, but I gave it a try, okay? I had a lot of expectations from Blood Rage, and I think that I had pretty much the same expectations when I played Rising Sun. Rising Sun gave it a shot a few times, didn't work out for me. Then I'm like, okay, Blood Rage, right? This is top 10, top 20 on BGG, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Such a highly rated game. I'm like, I gotta give it a go. And I'm playing this game and it's just a no-go for me, okay? So in my post, basically what I said is that I find it probably, and I guess it was my fault saying it the way that I said it. I find this game not really intuitive. Now, I'm guessing that I kind of failed to explain, probably because of my poor English, but the thing is that there's something there that I don't like when it felt to me, okay, at least after 2-3 games, that you're going to probably do better if you're going to go with the strategy of sacrificing your units, of killing them at the end of every round with a Ragnarok, or just doing different strategies that are eliminating your units. Later I understood that this is called the Loki strategy or something like that, okay? And the people in the Facebook post are like, but these are Vikings, of course you're going to receive points if they're dying, they go to Valhalla. I'm like, yeah, okay, I understand it. But Vikings, unless I'm completely wrong, didn't go to battle wanting to die, okay? That was not the purpose to die. They treated death in combat like it's a glorified thing, of course, and it doesn't, like it didn't bother them to die in battle, because then they're going to go to Valhalla, etc., etc. But they didn't go to combat like wanting to die. That was not some sort of a kamikaze, okay, like or doing seppuku or whatever. And this is something that just didn't click with me, okay? I didn't like this concept that you're being so well rewarded for sacrificing your units that just this game is not for me. I understand getting like points for sacrificing your units, but to me, it needs to be more rewarding actually to win the battles and not sacrificing your units, and that's something that bothered me. On top of that, maybe that was another mistake by playing with another player that like knew the game extremely well. So obviously he knew all the cards by heart. Now, I think that in general, okay, we'll talk about Ankh in a few more minutes, but I think that in general, if you have a game that you're going to play better, you're going to make your game better by just knowing all the cards by heart, and then like while you're drafting, you're like, okay, they took that card, so I'm going to do this. It's not the type of games that I usually like. Now I'm going to separate it from games like War of the Ring, where still, of course, the very experienced players will know exactly which cards you have in which deck, but also from my experience, again, if you guys know this game better than I do, then please let me know. But I think that in most games, you're not going to deplete all of your decks, okay? The same with Dune War for Arrakis, etc. So still, you know which type of cards can plus minus come to that player, to the other side, but it's not something that you're going to completely build your strategy around it, especially because in War of the Ring, like I said in the last video when I compared between of them, you can use each card not only for the like the normal effect that it's going to have at the top part, but you actually can use it as a combat card. So the other side really doesn't know if they're going to use it like this or like that, and that makes the like memorizing all the cards less effective, as you can see in Blood Rage. Now, I'm thinking to myself, and this is an open question, so please let me know what you think. But if Blood Rage, for example, had 50 cards for each age or year, whatever it calls over there, and every time you're going to shuffle, you're going to use only 20 of these cards, okay? So you never really know what to expect, and I don't think you're going to memorize 150 cards or something like that. Do you think that Blood Rage would have been a completely different game, a more challenging game, less of a fun game? Because this is something that is quite interesting for me. So Blood Rage is saying goodbye, and I'm not going to continue with it, but you know, if one day you will be able to change my mind, then I'll be more than happy to repurchase it. Now with Ankh, we have less of that because all players have the same cards. You still have here the sacrifice kind of thing, but it's not as strong as we've seen in Blood Rage. But I don't know, guys, maybe it's just this type of games is not for me, but I can't really put the finger on what is it exactly. Like, what is it exactly in the design that makes me like, no, I played this game a few times and it's really, I just don't enjoy this. So, because I like player versus player, okay, there is no problem with that. I like games with combat, I like the interaction, I don't know what is here specifically that I just didn't like. Well, here I get it, but the same with Rising Sun. And there are still games that I would like to try from Errol Klang, like Chaos in the Old World. So, I don't know, kind of like bothered by the fact that I can't really put my finger saying exactly what I didn't like in this game, but I guess that this is definitely okay, that some games just don't click with you, okay? You don't enjoy them. And also another like interesting topic that went up in that post on Facebook is like people saying, yeah, you know, this is not a game that you should play 1 or 2 times. This is a game that you're going to have fun after 10 times. And I'm like, but I don't want to play 10 times in order to enjoy a game. You know, that just, it's crazy for me. I have no problem to play first game, and always when I'm playing a game for the first time, I never count on winning. Okay, I just want to try as many mechanisms as possible, different combinations, what I can do. I'm exploring. So that's the first game. You don't like it, you need to give it another chance. After the first game, when you already understood the game, and that is of course depends also on the level of complexity of games, but you do agree with me that these games are not complex at all, right? If you're taking another completely different game that is much more complex, just for the fun of it, okay? Let's take Pax Renaissance because we talked about it before. Completely other game, absolutely completely another game, but more complex than that we have in these 2 boxes. So first game, you're learning the game, but probably it's going to take you 1 more game at least to understand better what's going on, because you have 4 different winning conditions over there, etc. But even with more complex games, I don't want to play 5, 6, 10 times a game and suffering through it or just not enjoying, just in order that at some point it's going to click, or I will remember the cards better, I will understand strategies better, and I don't want to read about strategies online because I like to discover my own strategies. So personally, like I want to say, I salute the people that are willing to play a game 10 times until it becomes interesting for them. But at the same time, I'm like, do you really want to spend so much time like for one game, for the possibility? It's not even a sure thing that you will enjoy the game after like so many tries. There are so many board games out there. Like I will never understand like the need to linger so much on one game just because it's well rated. And yeah, you have different games in the top 10 on BGG or in the top 100 or whatever. Some of them are games like Wingspan that for me, really, it was enough for me to play 1.5 times to understand that this is not the game for me. And other games are like, yeah, this I like it. I just like it from the first play, or if not for the first play, I know that the mechanisms over there and the way that the game is designed, that it's just, I like it. It's going to take me time to be better at this, but I like it. Anyways, these are the 6 games that are leaving the collection, and let's move on to the 6 games that are entering my collection. Starting with, and we got here some really big boxes, and that is Cthulhu Wars. I got it with 2 expansions. This is the first one that, I'm sorry, I didn't say the name, that is Opener of the Way, and another one that is called Windwalker. So, what do I know about this game? Not a lot, to be honest with you. I just know that I've heard about it, a lot of things, enough to make me at least try this game. I got everything that you can see right over here for 190 euros with the shipping. So from what I've seen, at least, or from what I did a little bit of research, that is not a bad price to get what you can see right over here. Definitely, I like the aspect of asymmetrical factions. Huge miniatures that I'm guessing can never hurt, but also I'm wondering if it's just a gimmick, you know, but left for me to find out and then report back to you guys. So, moving on to the next game that is also quite the big box. Let me get this out of the way for a second. That is Steamwatchers, that you can see right over here, that I got it also with all the expansions and with the playmat that is behind me. Now, funny enough, I saw yesterday someone posted that actually Simon bought the rights for Steamwatchers. I'm guessing that's what the last nail in the coffin of Mythic Games. Thank King God. So hopefully they're going to do something with this game, maybe an expansion, maybe some sort of an upgrade pack or something like that. So that will be interesting. I've heard mixed things about this game. I'm guessing that if you go to any Mythic game over in BGG, you're going to see it extremely low rated, just because of the shitstorm that they brought on the different backers, which I completely understand and agree with. Some people said that it's just a game that is overproduced and there is not a lot to it, but I think that for the price that I managed to find this game, I got it for 85 euros, like everything that you could have found, and again the playmat. That is a decent price to at least try this game. The next game that is joining my collection, and I was on a hunt for it for really quite some time, and that is Dead Reckoning. So I got it with the two, basically the all-in pledge from the first Kickstarter, so with all the upgraded components, sleeves, metal pieces or whatever. Got everything for 180 euros, so it felt kind of like a good deal. Look, I have a problem, okay? I know that I have a problem. Why is it a problem? First of all, why are you hunting so much for a game that you're not even sure how it's going to be? Because you must be asking yourself, or not, you saw a lot of playthroughs, you saw how to play, do you think that you're going to like this game? And I'm like, nope, I haven't seen anything. Why did you get it? Well, I don't know. it seems cool, okay? What do you want me to tell you? It just seems cool. And even though that before I managed to get a copy of this one, I was like, okay, maybe I'm going to try another game of the same designer. And I got Edge of Darkness, again, of course, with everything. What did I think of it? I have no idea. Never got to it. Okay, I have it in my collection for already a few months. Never got to play it. Is it sad? I think it's pretty sad, but it is what it is. I'm happy to have it. Yeah, it's new in Shrink, so I feel like I did a good deal, and we're going to circle back to this game a little bit later in the video, but that is another game that is entering to my collection. Moving on to the third game, and that is a Resurgence. So, smaller box than I anticipated. I am super interested in this game. I think we're going to have a reprint for it soon, but I'm not sure. I really need to double check it. Some sort of a post-apocalyptic world in Russia, trying to survive. I have no idea. I'm super interested in it because I think that the designer is generally has some good games under his belt. So I'm guessing that this is something that is worth checking, especially for the price. I got it for 45 euros, second hand, of course. So this is another game that I will check and get back to you. The next game that is entering my collection, and it's been some time since I had a game like this, and that is Carnegie. Another game that I was looking to play for quite a while, because I think that this is, or I hope at least from what I've seen, this is going to be a little bit of a different Euro than what I have already in my collection. So Carnegie, that is definitely on the heavier side of board games. Again, something that I was looking into for quite some time now. Just look for a good price, because I looked for the deluxe edition, even though I was told that there is not a lot of difference between the regular or the deluxe editions. I'm like, all right, but if I manage to find it at a good price, I'll do it. And I think that I found it for 70 euros, I want to say, something like that. So it seemed like a decent price for me to go into it. The last game that is entering my collection, that is Mantis Falls. Now, this is for sure something that I don't have in my collection. It's something, I mean, the type of games that I don't have in my collection. I'm interested in this game. I think that it's an interesting game of like semi-cooperative kind of thing. I like the theme behind this game. I like the environment of where it takes place. And I'm curious to see how it is. Actually, I thought it's going to be lighter than what it actually is. I wanted to take this game to a trip and teach it to my non-gamer friends, but I got into this game and then I'm like, maybe it's not such a good idea. It is not as light as it seems to begin with. And that is it, you guys. Those are the 6 games that are entering my collection. There is one more game. And that is something that I wanted to talk to you about. So the next game that I'm going to present to you is not a game that is entering my collection. It's actually a game that is going to go into your collection. A little bit strange, right? So the thing is that since we are approaching the 2,000 subscribers mark, I wanted to do something special. And I feel that when I'm talking about a game, I want to back it also with at least a small action that I can take. So the thing is, and I've talked about this game for really many videos. This is a game that is a little bit hard to find, but I managed to find this game in English here in France. And I thought that when I'm going to reach the 2,000 subscribers mark, I'm going to do a free giveaway for this game, of course. So before I'm presenting you the game, I have 2 questions for you. First of all, what is your favorite YouTube channel? Come on, give it to me. And the second question is, do you like apples? How do you like them apples? So yes, this is Starcraft, the board game, that I'm going to do a free giveaway for this game. And I gotta tell you that I got a little bit upset when I received it, because, okay, you have a little bit like the corners, you know, whitish, because it got peeled. It is a pretty old game. The condition of it, guys, oh my God, it's so much better than the copy that I have behind me. It is insane. Because when I got this game, and I opened just to see that I have all the materials. And when I'm checking, I'm like, this game is practically new. Besides the box, the cards, you know, the feel of new cards is there. The token, some of them were not even separated from each other. And I'm like, I can't believe it. This is almost a new copy of Starcraft. And I'm really happy, guys, that I'm going to have the opportunity to do a free giveaway of this game. I'm excited about it because I talked about Starcraft for a long time. And this is a game, again, that if you know it a little bit, you know that it is an out-of-print game by Fantasy Flight Games. What a surprise. That is a little bit difficult to get. I located a copy, I got it, and I'm like, I'm going to do a free giveaway to you guys. So check it out. 2,000 subscribers, we're not so far, and after that, free giveaway. Let's move on to the next part of this video, and that is I'll be backing, which I'm telling you which game I decided to back during the passing month of August. And the game that I decided to back is nothing. August went by and I'm just didn't find a game that was good enough to back. I did back a part, let's say, of Dead Reckoning. That's why I said we're going to circle back to this game a little bit later. But just the I don't know, the upgrade pack or the errata pack, whatever that we have from the first Kickstarter to whatever kind of repairs that they did a little bit later. So I just got it. But besides that, no new game has been pledged this month on any crowdfunding platform. I gotta tell you, it feels good. Okay, it feels good not to buy something new that is going to come 2 years later. I know it's a little bit silly that when I'm saying it because I have 6 new board games to play, but also that means 6 board games that are living. The last thing that I want to tell you are some updates for the next month. First of all, guys, something a bit more personal. Recently, I accepted a job in Geneva, so soon I'm leaving Paris and I'm going to move to Geneva, Switzerland. Why am I telling you this? Because I know it's really not interesting, just because it means that with all the moving and it's a little bit difficult to take all your things. My God, I forgot how it actually goes. But it's a little bit complicated to take everything and then find an apartment in a different city and move everything. It's quite the hustle. So I just wanted to apologize in advance if I'm going to have a little bit less videos than what we're used to on this channel for the next month or two. I know it's a huge amount of time, but I'm going to need your patience over there because this moving thingy is really not trivial. So the personal stuff. What are the plannings for next month on this channel? First of all, I would really like to bring Heroes of Land, Air, and Sea to the table and do a video, at least an explanatory playthrough or a how to play and also a review. That is as a shout out to the newest member in this channel, Logan. Thank you so much for joining. Welcome to the family. I appreciate it. So that is going to be for you, Logan. And also, I would like to continue a little bit this role of Lord of the Rings and do videos for War of the Ring, the card game, and also what I have over there that joined my collection last month, and that is Middle-earth Quest. So those 2 games that I would really like to bring to the table and bring them, of course, to you. So we already have at least 3 games that I would like to see. For sure, you're going to see the new edition of March of the Ants because the Kickstarter was postponed a little bit, but you're going to see it in September. So I think we have a little bit what to work on. Again, I really appreciate your patience just because it's going to be a little bit of a more stressful period right now for me. But thank you. And that is it, you guys. Thank you so much for your time. I truly appreciate it. I hope that you enjoyed this video, seeing which games are leaving the collection, which games are coming in on my way of building my perfect board game collection of 100 games, no more and no less. Take care, and I'll see you next time.